All right, Nikita Tszyu, the fight's finally been announced. Dylan Biggs is the opponent. Thoughts on this fight?
It's going to be a pivotal moment for me. It's going to be the defining fight for the early stages of my career. It's kind of like the first big hurdle I have to kind of take in order to go into the world level.
Now, you said up at the press conference that you've been thinking about him for quite some time. I guess why so many thoughts about Dylan?
Well, because I knew that we would eventually have to face off. I knew that this is a fight that's pending in the back of my head, and it was kind of like Bomber, where he was calling me out from the very start. He was calling me out before my pro debut, and he was also in the back of my head for quite some time. And I got to tick that bucket, that checklist off at the start of the year. Now I've got another one to close the year off.
And you brought up the sparring incident as well. I guess fighters aren't usually so open about sparring.
Yeah, well, you gotta own it. I'm not afraid to say that he got the better of me. There have been moments where Floyd Mayweather himself has talked about how people have gotten the better of him. He spoke about how Errol Spence got the better of him in a sparring session. But you experience these things in sparring in order to not experience them in the fight. And it's best to experience them in the sparring sessions to perform well best at the fights. And that's my job. It's at that moment, I was still very early in my career, still very raw in even just the world of professional sport. So I was still learning a lot of things about my body, about just everything. I was kind of just dumped into the deep end. And I've had a lot of time to mature at this point, 2 years since that moment. And you're going to see it's going to be completely different to what it was before.
Now, Dylan Biggs had that win over Ryan Mitchum a couple of weeks ago. Did you see that fight?
I was in Thailand drinking coconuts. I was as soon as I heard the record of the other guy, I kind of knew that what No Limit were doing. They were kind of just putting him on a silver platter for him. No disrespect to the other guy. I actually met him up at Gold Coast for my brother's last fight, so he's a pretty nice dude. So, no disrespect. But yeah, it was kind of obvious what was happening, and I knew that there's no real point in watching or kind of trying to study that situation, because it's just it's clear what's going on.
Now, your last fight was a great win for yourself over Jack Brewbaker. How do you look back on that night?
There's a lot of flaws I showed. I got hit with some shots that probably shouldn't have. I also got a good understanding of my ability to absorb shots. I got hit with a shot that kind of rocked me, and I kind of saw stars for a little bit and recovered pretty quickly. So I'm glad I went through that situation. I'm glad I got that little headbutt. My eye was bloodshot for a few weeks after, so that moment was in the back of my head for a long time.
Dylan said that he brings heavy hands in this fight. How do you sort of negate a fighter when he has heavy hands?
You take away their best weapon,
which is their heavy hands.
Their heavy hands.
So I guess what can we expect in this fight?
You just gotta watch. I don't like giving predictions, as I said at the press conference. You just gotta be. Yeah, it's the fight that Australia has been needing. 2 undefeated fighters early in their career. Early enough in their career that they've already kind of well established themselves. It's not like a pro debut kind of thing where it's like 3 or 4 fights, or well, he's got 10 fights, I've got 7 fights, and it's for the Australian title. So it's a huge moment. This is what the sport needs. These kind of young fighters that are willing to risk it all for greatness.
And Tim's been elevated to world champion. I guess how proud are you of your brother, and does it motivate you in your career now?
Yeah, I'm ecstatic for the achievement that he's received. He's getting the recognition that he deserves. His name's being thrown around with the top dogs, and Yeah, he's always been a huge motivation for me, where I'm always just watching how he does things, the way he conducts himself. He's a professional to his bones, just the way he does everything. The level of focus that he has, it's inspiring, motivating, and I'm extremely lucky and privileged to have someone like that so close to me.
Thoughts on his fight with Brian Mendoza?
It's going to be a tough one. Mendoza's awkward, but the way I don't know, you haven't seen him spar recently. He's a fucking animal. He's a bloody machine. Just some of the sparring partners coming back after the rounds have been done, and they're like, "Fuck, he's so sharp. He's so accurate." So you saw him against Ocampo. You saw the kind of devastation that he was able to do. Ocampo wasn't a walk in the park either. He's a proper fighter. He's legit. So the fact that he was able to completely dismantle him so quickly, it just goes to show the level of progression that he's at. And I don't think it's going to be the same as Ocampo, but he's going to walk through him and really break him down.
Will you be on the Gold Coast?
Yeah, of course I'm going to be there. I'm excited for it because it's again, these are little memories that we have, that we get to connect with each other. I got a bit into photography, into videos, so I'm there to be the little cameraman and the documentary maker of the night.
We'll see you there. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you.